Welcome to the Discord live stream, everybody. Today feels like a good day to just take a quick look at current market conditions, see what the MDX ALGO indicators are saying, go over some strategies I like to use when scalping. Some of them are going to be familiar, and so on. Feel free to ask any questions about the indicators, the features, my settings, just questions in general. If you want altcoin requests later, by all means, throw them out there in the chat. But yeah, I'll do my best to answer everything. If I forget to get to you in the chat box there, chances are I just stopped paying attention for a bit, so bear with me, I'll get to it eventually. But with that, let's hop right into it. Just looking at the Bitcoin 4-hour chart here. I have been saying, you guys, that I am cautiously bullish here, and my reasoning for that is, well, we do have an obvious uptrend here. And basically, I'm actually surprised with how quick we got bought up here. I was expecting a third touch point of this upward sloping trend line here, this bottom green one. But the market got front run, so I also added a new potential support line looking for some kind of a third touch on if we do see some kind of a pullback right now. Because I do absolutely see reasons why we could pull back very soon. We got to be cautious at these levels because we clearly have some strong resistance back here if we zoom out a little bit. And you can see we did get that little bit of a failed break there and just struggling with this resistance box, which has, this has been resistance for a while now. So definitely an important level to be watching here. I am, however, like I said, cautiously bullish. Just because just this structure that we've set on the 4-hour, basically on every time frame actually, we do have this high here and this higher high here. You can see I have those marked out. So down here I have our higher low, and basically this green box here is kind of what I'm watching. I should actually maybe even raise that a little bit. Maybe we already got a touch there. I should just go to the bottom of these candle bodies here. That's how I generally like to draw my support boxes. And this is the level I'm watching as far as bullish structure goes, just on this kind of this current swing here. Just we haven't set any lower lows on this trend. We just keep setting higher lows. And this is the current one. This is kind of my line in the sand that I'm watching right now. Yes, it looks a little bit weak. I wish we were just getting a stronger bounce off it and hammering through this resistance. But we're going to take what the market gives us. And like I said, just cautiously bullish. I am very aware of this resistance. But like I said, as far as this current swing goes, this green box is our higher low. So I'm just really watching that range. If we end up breaking this level, I'm going to be a little bit less optimistic, I suppose, maybe a little bit bearish, and just thinking that there's a good chance we actually take some kind of a dump to the downside and maybe retest some of these levels. I think it absolutely makes sense that we could just basically break this structure. We didn't really build any support on the way up, so I think that absolutely this could be a possibility where we dump right back down and get some kind of a retest on these levels, because after we broke out of this wedge, we never really did retest it, get that resist support flip. We just absolutely blasted off, FOMO kicked into the market. But another interesting thing about this is just the way I have this mapped out here. Just look at the size of this move. If we take a measured move from where we broke out from, that was very close to a measured move. I'm willing to give it that one. That is very close to totally pinpoint accurate there. So you know what, maybe that's all this falling wedge did have in it after the breakout there. I think we might see some kind of a bigger pattern coil up. If we do get this drop, this pullback, I wouldn't be all too surprised to see some kind of an ascending triangle formation where we end up blasting off to the upside, because that absolutely does not have to happen. If we end up dropping this green box, then we're just going to have to see what happens with the swing. As long as there's a downward swing going where we're just setting lower lows, lower highs, we're just going to have to see where that structure breaks. But I'd definitely be watching as we get down towards those support lines that I have mapped out. I think that would make a lot of sense, even to just kind of retest, some of these old levels back here. Get a retest of that kind of lining up with these diagonal trend lines. That could absolutely be a possibility. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on those levels if the market does decide to take a dump to the downside. You guys know my opinion that I think there is room to the upside. I personally think that we're heading towards that 45 to 50K, specifically 48K is what I've been talking about for about 8 months now. I still think that's very much in the cards for the very near future, because when you see weekly candles start getting momentum, I mean, it would be nothing, in my opinion, for in the next couple of months here to end up reaching that level, just retesting some of this structure back here as well as that 618. But I talk about that in every stream, guys, but I do think it's important, not just necessarily saying that I think that we are going there, but just being open to the possibility that if this was any other time frame chart, I mean, it would be nothing to get back up some sort of a retest at that level. So I know the economy is scary and all that kind of stuff right now, but I mean, market movers, I mean, there's big players here that can definitely, end up pushing the price. I mean, one good big fat finger buy order could blast us through that resistance, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you're ending up targeting some of those much higher resistance levels. So just something to be a little bit aware of, you guys. And on top of that, you know how I feel about this market structure. We had our low, lower low, lower high. That purple horizontal line there is just an absolutely perfect resistance support flip, and that's on a macro scale. This is a very large downswing. Our entire bear market, we broke the structure of that. That's a big deal in my opinion, and the fact that we're just flipping that absolutely perfectly, that's great to see in my opinion. I was really hoping, I'm not going to lie, I was really hoping that this weekly candle was going to close above this level and actually close as an engulfing candle. So right now we do have to be cautious about that. I mean, I don't want to call this a swing fail pattern or a failed break or anything like that at this point on the weekly chart, just because there's not an actual rejection there. It's just, we've tested that level, but there's no big frightening red candle with other signs there or anything like that. In fact, when I just bring up the oscillator 4 and 5 here, you can see that we're actually starting to get hidden bullish divergences. Even got this little green dot here. Those hidden bullish divergences on basically any time frame, I mean, quite often you see them turning into continuations. And that's something I don't want to take too lightly right now. The fact that we're seeing those on both indicators, I mean, the oscillator 5 down here, it did have this big sell signal right at the top basically, but it's had time to cool off. What's the money flow doing here? The money flow is still technically green on the MDX oscillator 5, so that's a good signal. I've been talking about that actually since way back here, when this money came into the market and we got this green close here. That's kind of where I flipped very bullish on this market, and I have to stand by my opinion on that, because if we look back, I mean, look at the size of moves that you can typically get when you see these crosses happen, where the cloud just turns from red to green. I mean, even back here, yeah, you miss a large portion of the move, but I mean, that's still a nice swing to the upside from there. I mean, just looking at the size of moves, look at this one, just absolutely huge. Not saying that has to happen again, but when you really zoom out and look at kind of the market structure and what these indicators have said in past market cycles, I mean, this cloud has not been green for very long. I think there's absolutely potential for money to keep flowing into this market for quite some time. So that's a very strong signal I don't want to take too lightly. Another thing, just the ALGO 3 here. We did have this buy signal basically right as we broke that structure, that purple line I'm talking about. When we got that close above that level, that's where it confirmed this buy signal. And yeah, it looks like, maybe it's actually called it right into resistance. Yes, that's absolutely possible. But generally speaking, these buy signals have been quite accurate in the past. I mean, I'm not seeing too many buy signals that would have played out poorly. I mean, where can we go back to? Even this, you're getting a big move off that. All of these absolutely beautiful. This is the only one. I guess like maybe this one. Even that one's not so bad. It was a quick recovery, but you know, maybe we have a couple of these buy signals that didn't play out very well, but generally speaking, that can be such a strong signal on the weekly chart. And being that we have that as we broke that bearish market structure and all these other reasons I'm talking about, I just don't want to be too bearish right now thinking that we're overextended. I mean, yes, we could absolutely see some kind of a pullback. Maybe we do come back to the lows. I don't see us really setting new lows. I'm personally thinking the bottom is in, but I mean, even a pullback down to the lows for some kind of a double bottom later in the year, I mean, that would feel absolutely devastating, right? Like, that's a big move to the downside. That would be no joke. I don't want to make too light of that, but just as it stands right now, I'm just cautiously bullish on the market, you guys. Let's bring up some indicators on the 4-hour here. We do currently have a sell signal, and as well we do have this potential top signal here. So there is those warning shots being fired right as we're trading at resistance like that. Hidden bearish divergence on the oscillator 4. What do we have here? Oscillator 5. There's a little bit of red selling pressure in the money flow, but really not too much there yet. We do still have this support cloud. I guess that's another thing to watch for. If we do break down below my green box here, just kind of watch how the moving average cloud plays out. That's on the MDX ALGO 3, and that would be the moving average cloud. I just have it set to 200. That's just what it came as, so that's what I've left it as. That's just what I've used it. But so yeah, basically there's a few things to be cautious of, but like I said, until we at least break that green box and change that structure, setting a lower low, things don't look too bad right now. They do look a little bit weak. Like I said, we're not getting that nice bounce through the resistance, but support always does look weak until it acts as support. I mean, right now, if we do get some kind of a bounce, it'll be easy to say, you know, in Captain Hindsight, well, yeah, that didn't look so bad. We were trading right into support. Of course, it was a buy level. But as it stands, when you're trading into that buy level, it is a little bit scary. So that's where just looking at shorter time frames, trying to get an entry on a shorter time frame, that's kind of more what I'm looking for. If I can catch a swing out of it, great. But as it stands, I'm just kind of scalping and hoping one turns into a runner with kind of like half a position or a quarter of a position or whatever. Let's slowly zoom in here. Let's hop over to the 1-hour chart. Again, we do have a sell signal, and something I want to be a little bit cautious of here as well. You guys know I love this W strategy. We do see lower lows being set with the reversal warnings here on the ALGO 3. That's something that I've been paying close attention to recently. Oscillator 5 has bullish divergences. Oscillator 4, bullish divergences. So there's a little bit of mixed signals. I don't want to take this one all too serious quite yet, just because we very recently had them trending up, and then we have just switched the bullish ones down here. So I'd be more bearish, or at least a little more cautious, if we see a lower W come in, because then we're going to see the bottom Ws and the higher Ws both setting lows, both setting lower signals. So that's just something I've been using a lot lately, just for helping me spot a trend, just which way these Ws are trending. I'll zoom right into some shorter time frames and show you guys some good examples. And hopefully we'll see, maybe we'll even catch a few on this stream. So Pepe, see, we have W's trending to the upside. This is Pepe on the 1 minute, so this is as degen as it gets. But you can see that we do have these W's trending higher, aside from this one here. But again, we never had lower bearish ones forming, so it was just a bit of a warning, if anything. We just keep setting those higher lows with those W's. So as it stands, I mean, it's trying to point out an uptrend. We have even these very recent W's, the bearish ones, trending to the upside. So if we get some kind of, I really would have loved to see another W form down here, just like a higher W. That would have been great for the trend there. But That's probably enough of Pepe for now. Let's hop over to Bitcoin again. Zooming in even further, let's check out what the 5 minutes doing here. Is anyone else in any positions right now, I should ask? I don't think I quite got stopped out on the rest of my... Let me just actually check my phone here. I'm pretty sure I'm still in my position. Yes. Yes, I am. Excellent. You're short. Yeah, stock poker short, Pete short. 29.8k you're thinking? So you're hoping to get a double bottom back here, kind of fill this wick here? Okay, yeah, I could definitely... That wouldn't be too uncalled for. See some kind of a double bottom in that box. I could definitely see that. If we started, you know, if we end up trading down into this box, and as we're in this wick zone, we end up closing some, you know, especially if we get some kind of a little double bottom, or just seeing green candles closing in this level with any kind of bullish signals or whatever, that could definitely be a level of interest for looking for some long scalps as well. I see the 1 minute we did have this buy signal back here, very close to where we're at right now, actually. I personally don't really use the buy and sell signals too often, you guys. I just like picking my own entries and stuff like that, generally speaking. So I haven't really back tested the 1 minute with the ALGO sell and buy signals. So I don't know how much weight I want to give this right now. I'm actually going to turn those off just because they're distracting me right now. I just love having a very clean chart, so I don't actually have too much stuff on my charts, generally speaking. One thing that is going for a scalp short right now is we do have these downward trending W's, and we also had this here. Something I'm going to touch on with that is the fact that we ended up actually closing candle bodies above this W here. Maybe it's not as significant anymore. Generally speaking, if I had entered a short on this position, my stop loss would be above the previous W anyways. But as it stands right now, I don't know. I don't want to take a short. I'm seeing this potential green cloud here. And again, I'm already in this position from back here, so I'd rather just leave this half of my position run and not end up over trading here. As I said too this morning, I believe it was, I am still just favoring the bullish scenario too. I am looking at it with a bullish bias just because, like I said, as long as we're above this green box here, I'm just scared to short. If we end up changing this market structure and, you know, breaking back down below this and seeing some kind of a rejection after that, that's where I'll be more likely to actually end up taking a short. I'm okay if I miss this first move. I just know myself, and I don't want to end up taking that position. Especially the fact that, like I was talking about with this high and this higher high, that's not just a wick either, right? This is 4-hour candles actually closing above this structure here. So I just can't really discredit that at this point. I just have to trust that as we're getting closer to support here, I'm just going to continue being cautiously bullish here. I'm keeping my positions fairly small right now, and I am just entering on smaller time frames. Like I said, mostly scalping at these levels because of the risk of a rejection. I'm just hoping to basically end up seeing some kind of a blast through that resistance and hoping to catch a runner with the scalp. Because when I scalp, generally speaking, I try and take at least a quarter to half my profits very quickly and then update my stop loss after that to break even. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for here. Another thing I want to touch on actually with these weekly candles is just that, I mean, look at the size of this weekly candle we had last week. If this was any other, once again, any other time frame, it would be totally normal to pull back into the previous candle. I mean, that happens with basically every single candle in existence. You end up pulling back into the body somewhat. And I mean, to see us even drop halfway through this candle and, you know, maybe get closer to the bottom of this blue box, for example, this old support level, maybe we just end up retesting this and kind of finding support there. You know, that's absolutely a possibility. This doesn't really scare me. The volatility today, I've actually was talking to some people earlier who were a little scared at how bad the market was dumping today, and I was like, well, when you zoom out, like, things are actually, to not get some kind of a wick down into this candle would be weird. So to see us, you know, wicking down 10% or 20% of the way into the candle body, I mean, that is nothing to be scared of, in my opinion. Scared to take longs because Kieran is short. Yeah, you know, absolutely. The guy's a great trader. The way I'm trading is not really trading against him, right? Like, I mean, I'm looking for scalps long just because that's the way I prefer to play it. But yeah, I'm hesitant to hold on to a long for too long of a period right now as well. Because, yeah, absolutely, I see reason to be cautious or even favoring the shorts at resistance. But like I said, I'm just not there yet. I'm not there until we lose our higher low. But yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. If we end up dropping this support, could absolutely be back down to our next support level, which would be, oh yeah, kinda anywhere in this previous range. I would not be surprised if we see it again if we end up dropping this green box. If we drop this green box, see some kind of a rejection, which wherever it happens, I would assume that we're going to see these levels back here at some point. And when I say losing this box, guys, that's actually like at least an hourly candle closing below it. If we just get some kind of a wick, or, you know, the 1 minute or the 5 minute or 15 minute goes below it and then reclaims it, that's actually where I'm going to be more bullish. I would be seeing that as kind of a failed break or liquidity grab, whatever you want to call it. If it's a fake out like that, I think things could be incredibly bullish. I'm not willing to set a momentum short just below support and just have it automatically like a stop entry. I have no interest in catching a momentum short like that. If we close bodies below, that's where I'm more interested in starting to look for shorts. But ideally, if we drop it, I'm hoping it's just a wick, and that will confirm in my eyes that, you know, this higher low is actually looking like it's got a lot of strength. If this weekly is a doji candle or some type of top, likely some retrace to recapture that pump candle a bit. Lots of week left though. Yeah, that's exactly it. Going back to the weekly chart. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I would be more so considering this a failed break at that point. Like you said, if we get some kind of a doji candle close, something like that, or anything, I will be a lot more, well, a lot less bullish. I don't know if I'll quite be bearish yet, but I would definitely be less bullish. But yeah, it's hard to say. Like these weekly candles, especially near the weekly close, they can get quite volatile. So I mean, I don't want to call anything too premature here. Whoop. You know, we do have that. We have a higher W, higher bullish W, but we don't have a higher bearish W anymore. Yeah. So I suppose this is one of those times then worth mentioning. Like, again, I never took this position by any means, but the fact that we had these downward sloping W's and then we had these sloping W's. I know I mentioned it in my tutorial with how I like to use these, that after the lower W, I mean, I like to keep my stop loss above the previous one, for example, and I like to ladder in towards it. So, I mean, even though we got that pump towards the upside after, would have been great to just kind of ladder in towards that stop loss. So we obviously would have initially entered there and then just kind of, I like to break my orders up into like 2 or 3 parts. So, I mean, if you're kind of doing it, just splitting it up evenly on the way towards the stop loss, I mean, you could have got a decent little entry there. Somewhere in the middle here would have been your average entry in that case. Like I said, I never took it, but that's just kind of using that W strategy that I've been talking about. Looks like the rest of my position will probably get stopped at break even right away. The one that I was in before the stream here. It's close. We also have that red cloud now. 5-minute moving average and hourly moving average, both above us. And just to show you my settings, in case some of you guys are new here or whatever, my trend 1, generally when I'm scalping the 1 minute, I have trend 1 at the volume weighted moving average, 5-minute, and trend 2 is EMA 1 hour. Oh, look who's here. I was just talking about the W's a little bit. This, I was just mentioning, Jay, that this would have been a nice little sell signal here. Stop loss somewhere above here, your previous one, and just kind of ladder into the position on the way up. Would have been a nice little entry for a scalp. I never did take it. I was still in my low. I'm very close to getting stopped out of the rest of my position there. To be honest, I haven't really looked at the W strategy too much on other time frames. I've just been mostly scalping with it. So, yeah, I haven't really done back testing with other time frames. I'm going to assume it would work very similar because, yeah, it's just going to help you point out the trend. Like, that's another thing, too, is, like, you can, obviously, generally speaking, you should add your own analysis, your own confluences and stuff like that. But yeah, it just really helps you point out a trend when you're looking for entries is the important part. Like if we get some kind of a bounce, we have these W's trending to the downside now. There's the top ones are still trending to the downside. If we got some kind of a pump and let's say another W just a little bit lower than this one, that may end up being a decent little sell signal. Yeah, the 1 hour. And that's probably, well, that was always my favorite trading strategy with the ALGO 3 before, was looking for those reversal warnings on shorter time frames around the 1 hour trend. And I was messaging Jay earlier, you guys, just before the stream about this. Well, exactly this. We're getting those reversal warnings right around that 1 hour trend. That can be a very powerful signal as well. And I mean, if not, let's say you end up taking this short from around this level, then, I mean, your stop loss just above previous structure and your W's, I mean, fairly tight stop loss there anyways. So those are also, that is a beautiful strategy that I like to use with the ALGO 3 as well. I should probably make a separate video about that as well. Yeah, potential wick fill from earlier here. That's why I mapped out this blue box just a little while ago here, is I wouldn't be all too surprised to see us come back down into this box, get some kind of a double bottom. Either micro double bottom or even just the initial one. Start closing candle bodies. Starting to see green candle bodies close to the bottom of a wick fill. That can quite often be grounds for a nice double bottom, nice scalp, or just entry, depending what time frame you're looking at. Yeah, especially if these W's keep trending lower. That could definitely push this little micro trend we have going on the 1 minute. I could absolutely see it pushing us back down. Oh man, that's so close. So close to my break-even stop. I think this is it. Next couple minutes, will the red cloud do it? Higher time frame on the low from Friday the 23rd. Oh, I was going the wrong way. Whoops. Oh, this one back here. Yeah. Yeah, that would be my higher low support box. But like, so I was pointing out the exact same thing when we were back here. We had that green cloud support. We had this high, higher high. I outlined that same green box, that basically that wick area from the higher low. And I mean, like I said, it was looking weak, especially when we were taking this dump here. it was looking very weak, but we just bounced off the top of that box absolutely perfectly. What do we have now? I mean, looking at the same market structure, we're just kind of, we tested the top of that box. So I mean, yeah, ideally we would actually fill this. I wouldn't be all too surprised to see us actually fill that, or like I was talking about earlier, even some kind of a failed wick below it. If we see that kind of a liquidity grab type of thing, but we close the bodies above this, like inside this green box, I think we'll be in a very good place. As it stands right now, I mean, I'm just cautiously bullish as we hold on to this green level here. Whew. Yes, absolutely. That would be a fairly wide stop loss right now if you were to trying to catch a runner. My stop loss, like I'm just scalping right now. I'm hoping to catch a runner, basically. If I was looking at more of a swing trade, I don't know how far would that be. It all depends what type of leverage you're using. I mean, if you're only on 5x, for example, like I wouldn't be using the 25 or 69 or 100x leverage if I was looking at that kind of a move. I'm only using high leverage when I'm trading shorter time frames. So it really depends what kind of trading style you're looking for. I mean, on a lower leverage, if you were looking to play this bounce, I mean, you could just ladder in positions, for example, and try and bring your average down a little bit, your average entry down a little bit if it does end up dumping and filling the wick there. It's all just about managing your risk, right? Like if you can catch an entry down here, you see something on a shorter time frame lining up with this wick fill here, then you might have the confidence to go a little heavier in your trade. Whereas if you're about to go to bed, for example, and you do want to enter a trade, like if you've already decided, again, I'm not saying to take this trade because my trading style is different than yours most likely. But if that was an entry I wanted to take, I would just be laddering in basically overnight. But that's only if I have decided that I want to be in that position. But yeah, it would be a lot lower leverage than what I use when I'm scalping for sure. What are the actually something I want to bring up? I want to bring up the trade setup. See what kind of I'm sure it probably called a nice short. Yeah, I've been there, Pete. Definitely done that, and also like I've also woken myself up to take trades and stuff like that. Like if there's an important level I'm watching, a little more serious than a scalp, I will also set alerts on trend lines like to go every minute, and my phone will go every minute until it wakes me up, and then I can get out of bed and do what I have to do if I need. But yeah, alerts are your friends if you're planning to trade in your sleep. Not recommending, by the way, but you all know I'm a bit of a degen. Oh, right. I totally forgot we were looking at that before Stock Poker. Yeah, the MDX Oscillator 5 turning on smooth. It changes things a little bit. Watch down here. So it changed. Beautiful hidden bearish divergence right at these levels. Had the regular bullish divergence here. It only caught part of this, but the indicator has given a long signal here. Tight stop. Again, this is just the minute chart, so it's obviously small moves. Maybe I should be adding to my position a little bit. Bump up the stop loss a little. I don't think I want to. I think I'm just going to leave my stop where it is, not add on this. Like I said, I usually like to take my own entries, you guys, and like, don't get me wrong, I have used this in the past and I have got decent results. I just personally like to choose my own entries. Something that's nice about a setup like this, though, is let's say you did enter here and look how tight the stop is now. So rather than a 1-to-3 risk-reward ratio, you're looking at more like 1-to-6 at this point because it's such a tight stop. So that's another strategy that can be used with the indicators, is just basically laddering in from the entry towards your stop and hoping to get a much bigger risk-reward ratio out of it. But one thing I really do like about, like I said, I like my own entries, but I really like that it throws out the take profits. It just really makes it easier to do so, because sometimes it's hard to take profits. It's one of the hardest things you can do. Yeah. See, the indicator doesn't always get it right, but I personally like to have my stop loss below structure anyways. Actually, where I have my stop loss at break even right now is pretty much perfect for how the structure formed here. But yeah, obviously that changes the risk reward if you're into this kind of a position, right? I haven't actually back tested this trade setup feature all too much, but I'd be interested to do a little bit. It's hard because that one you can't really go back and do back testing, but I would love to see, like, as far as long setups, how often they're above the moving average, for example, whichever one you're using on your chart, or if you get your long signal above a green moving average cloud, for example, just like other things you could match up with it the way it is right now, it's kind of hard to do any back testing to figure out a combination with other confluences. So that is one thing that's a little bit unfortunate. However, I mean, obviously your screen would be so cluttered if it held on to every position that it lists. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see anything on your chart anyways, so I understand why it's not like that. But it would just be nice for as far as back testing, just to see what these trade setups line up with other confluences that happen to catch your eye. Let's say certain Fibonacci's, like, I don't know if you guys do much back testing, but that's something that's always important. Whenever you find some kind of a trade setup that you find, oh, you know, I see this play out all the time. If it's a combination of a few different indicators or different chart patterns, whatever, it's nice if you can go back and use the replay feature, as long as you have a paid version of TradingView. Just going back to a random point in the chart and just stopping and seeing how often, okay, you know what, the position that I want to backtest has, let's say, these 3 signals that match up together. I'm going to go back and see how often it plays out. I'm going to backtest 2 years worth of it and see what the percentage of the winning rate is, kind of a thing. Very important to do your homework when you're, especially if you're new to trading. Just like journaling, right? It's basically another form of journaling. I know when I first started trading, I did a ton of back testing with certain double top, double bottom scenarios, as well as wedge breakouts, just certain things I would look for. And like I said, I just went back like 2 years into the chart and I back tested the hell out of the 4-hour chart and the 1-day chart and ended up getting some pretty good results out of it. Like my certain trade setup had pretty good percentage. So then I was like, okay, well, that takes the guessing out of trading, and that's where you can kind of start ignoring the news and stuff. If you just like, you know what, I didn't know what the news or the economy was doing when I was back testing all these patterns. I'm just going straight off math. It just helps keep a level head when you're in the trading game. Yeah, exactly. There is so much stuff to do to become a good trader. And that's the thing. So many people just think it's a lazy person's game where you're just looking for easy money. But, you know, people who look at the markets, I find that quite often they're workaholics, if anything. The amount of hours that a person puts into learning how to do it well, it takes hours. It takes a lot of hours. I know homework isn't fun, and after high school we thought we were done, but then it comes back. Yeah, make it all back, hey? One trade. Make Pete No Stop proud. Well, let's check some other time frames with this trade setup. I bet the 5-minute has a juicy short. Oh, it actually hasn't even hit a... We're trading right at the entry that it set way back here. That's kind of funny. So on the 5-minute, there is a short call here. It's calling for some fairly deep targets. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Even the second target would take us below my higher low structure. I don't know if I want to trust the 5-minute over my 4-hour structure, but that could be a juicy one. pretty sure the hourly had a sell recently. Yeah, so it would have triggered back here pretty much. Haven't hit its first take profit yet, so once again shooting the second take profit quite a bit below my green box there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if that plays out. I'm personally not taking it. I don't want to short into this green box here, but definitely worth considering. And the 4 hour with that very recent call. That's more one that I'm leaning towards right now, but again, I just don't want to do it into this green box. That might be an absolutely beautiful trade setup. Third target lines up back with this old support pretty much perfectly. That's interesting. So yeah, you know what? There might be a juicy short here. I'm just not man enough to take it. When we doing the drinking stream? That's a good question. Whenever Max's schedule is clear. I think that would be a ton of fun. Just hop into the 1 minute chart with all the fellas from the group. Just do a drunk stream. I think it would be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's totally why I started watching him too, to be honest, is my friend told me about him, and then I watched a couple streams where he just got shit-faced, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, we should do one, even if it's not on YouTube. I think we should definitely do one in the Discord together. I think it would be a ton of fun. Not a lot happening right now. It's not too exciting, but I can't believe this held on there. I'm tempted to drop my stop loss below 30k, but I think I'll just leave it. I can always re-enter. Yeah, if we go 60 down, are you talking this level here? If we kind of... We might have support here, that kind of 30,000 US dollars. Nice round number. I could absolutely see that being support as well. But yeah, I think it does make a lot of sense that we drop back down and fill this wick. I think it's only a matter of time, but we're going to see. Doesn't have to happen. I think it will, but it doesn't have to. I'm just not... I'm not sure enough to throw money on that idea. But I will absolutely be looking for some kind of support in this box and hopefully end up in some kind of a long. I should probably... You know what? Speaking of that, I just want to pay attention to the market if we do drop to that level. So this is one of those times I'm going to set an alert to go once per minute. And that way, I will pay attention to my phone eventually if it keeps ringing at me. And then I can watch the price as we're trading into that wick fill box. Oh, Asia's open. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see it. Is it going to be uneventful again? Like it always is at the end of these streams. Always expected a big explosive jump out of the gate by Asia, and it just never seems to happen lately. So that means a daily candle closed, hey? Yes. This looks like it kind of has that M shape, but again, we're just not closing candles below anything. Like even this middle hump here, we're not even closing this candle below that level. So yeah, it is engulfing this green candle, but still showing signs of life there. Just don't want to flip too bearish too early. LFG Asia, come on. Oh, we got that bullish divergence on the oscillator 4. I never saw that back here, but that yeah. Like I said, it loves to, these hidden bullish divergences love to give a bit of a continuation. So we had this move up, hidden bullish divergence, another move up. Trading right into very micro resistance here as far as this current swing goes, obviously trading into resistance, but we did get a candle body close above it, so maybe I think at this point, as long as we stay above this level, things aren't looking so bad. And that's very micro analyzing, guys, but that's what we're here for on the 1 minute, right? So I mean, you can take this info into the longer time frames, obviously. It's just easiest to watch on shorter time frames just to see it live like this. But obviously we had low, high, higher high, because we got our right here, we never really had these candle bodies closing above this level. It was kind of just closing even with it. So here's where we have our higher high here, and this is obviously going to be our higher low just on this micro swing here. But if we're looking to play swing by swing, this is kind of the level I'm watching. If that breaks, then we lose that structure. So ooh, and a little gap down on the 1 minute. Oh, the gap got filled. Well, that first target on that 1 minute, so it did hit its first target. It just barely got stopped out there, the indicator. Like I said, that's kind of why I like a looser stop below structure. But again, that would have opened up more risk, right? Obviously a much bigger loss if it happened. I set my stop loss at a price level. I don't use like percent trailing stop or whatever. Like I just manually set my stop loss to break even on this trade before, and that's where it's going to stay for now. If I hadn't already taken profits on half that position, I would have absolutely taken some on this candle body close, just because we got a reversal warning, which is in fact slightly lower than this one. And as well, that was happening kind of right below the 5 minute trend. So just to play it safe, I would have definitely been looking to lock in profits if I was just looking at a scalp, which I am. But again, just going to leave mine for now. Oh, Sato. Oh, he's not Sato anymore. Just kind of watching the 1 minute now. Kind of went over everything I have to already in this stream. But yeah, we're just kind of watching this. Since you just got here, basically I entered a position back here. Basically right before I started the stream. Took half my profits when we got this W up here. But since we had the upward sloping W's, I was really hoping to catch more of a runner. So I do have my stop loss at break even. Just missed getting stopped out very recently. So that's kind of where this position's at. I'll probably sign off here right away. Not too much is happening anyways, but hopefully I covered some useful topics for you guys. And for those of you who are watching this later, because I'm going to be posting this on my YouTube channel after this, as soon as it's done uploading, if you guys appreciate getting this insight a little later and being included on these streams, by all means, if you don't mind, give me a like and a subscribe if you appreciate my content. If you want to be a part of these streams live with us, as well as many other coaching events, and get these indicators, these beautiful indicators, and just a very active Discord group full of very helpful traders, there is a referral link down below if that's something that interests you. For those of you here with me right now, just in case some of you guys are new, this is, once again, my YouTube channel, StuTube Trading, all one word. And sometimes when I don't have time to post videos, sometimes I'll share analysis on Twitter. Same thing, StuTube Trading, all one word. Give me a follow there. Taking a look at the dashboard for the MDX ALGO. Retail is slightly short, but it's fairly even. We've seen this get a lot worse in the past, but I mean, the fact that it's even, we could absolutely see some upside coming up. Just a continuation if there is still some selling pressure there. That could be some fuel for us. Yeah, me too. My stop loss, I don't like to have an even 5 or 0. I like to have like 3s, 7s. Yeah. Yeah, if I wanted a 30 or 29,999 as a stop loss, it would be more like 29,993 or something. I would just give it that extra wiggle room, make it a less round number. Oh, the legend board. Let's check it out. Oh no! I dropped to 5th. Yeah, looking ugly this week. Yeah, this 1 minute, this trade setup feature isn't doing so hot on the 1 minute right now. Well, I guess like I said, it did hit the first target on the last trade, but it did get stopped out first technically. But no, I'm okay with my long for now. I'm glad I kept my stop loss at break even. Like I said, when we started pulling back, this was kind of the level we wanted to hold. Got very close to that level. Never quite made it. I think I'm gonna wrap up this stream just to start uploading and whatnot, just because I'm not sure if the market's gonna do too much right now. But yeah, I will still be around while I'm uploading and stuff in case you guys want to just hang out for a little bit. But I am going to wrap up the stream. So anyways, friends, obviously, as always, none of this has been financial advice. Always do your own research to form your own opinions. But if you are watching this stream a little later on my YouTube channel and appreciated this video, please do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. If you want to be a part of these live streams and, like I said, other live coaching events in MDX Crypto's VIP Discord, as well as having access to my favorite indicators on TradingView, there's a 15% discount referral link down below to join. And with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace. I'm actually just going to start recording again for a second, you guys, just to show once again how well this basic market structure works. I know I just went over this with you guys while I was off the air there, but even here on this structure, we had this high, this higher high. We had the higher low set here, even on a 1 minute. Look how well it was respected. It looked like we were going to take this nasty dump to the downside, and right before we hit that higher low, that's when the market just made a bounce to the upside. Yes, it's not a huge move yet. This is just a minute chart, so take it for what it is. Looking for scalps here. So again, just beautiful there. Just wanted to start this again for a second just to show how well that basic market structure works. And since while we were still here hanging out, having a good time behind closed doors, talking crypto still, just saw this happening and figured I would start the stream again. So yeah, I am going to end it there though. I just wanted to show, since this was a perfect example and since I was still at my computer. But other than that, now for real, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.